ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO, Mr. Zach Stanley.
Talking about a team I am very excited about today.
Sarcasm?
No. I'm very excited about the potential of the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, you blew the lid right off the show yet again, like you enjoy doing before we
And welcome to the show.
I was going to say, before we had a chance to introduce our other co-host, Nick Steblenko, Teddy Bear 2. What's up, Nick?
2, what up?
I had a dream about this team last night.
Did it involve
Hakeem?
Hold on. Did it
It did.
Did it involve Andrew Luck's creepy giant voice?
Well, with a little luck, you won't have any bad dreams anymore.
Oh my God! I swear, if we do this pun thing the entire 32 days of these NFL teams,
Don't worry, our puns are waning.
Well, we go on a lot of business trips at Star Fantasy Leagues. We're very busy, and sometimes we like to shack up at a Hilton.
There we go. How many more do we have? I mean, we have a full hour. Do you want to just do puns the entire show?
No, I don't want to dig myself into a trench.
No, that one, nope.
Terrible.
See, I like that I allow you guys to go until you make asses of yourselves when you do it wrong, and then we move on. Today, as you can clearly tell, we are talking about the Indianapolis Colts, their outlook for the 2014-15 NFL season. We still have like 20-plus NFL teams to go through. This is the third division. We did the AFC East, AFC North, and we're entering the AFC, whatever the heck they call this division now. I know it's the South, but it makes no sense.
Whatever the heck they call it.
Okay, Indianapolis is in the AFC South.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. How do they name these divisions? Seriously.
That's how they name them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just East, West,
Why
North, South.
are
yeah.
the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East? Nobody will ever know.
Nope. I honestly don't get it. They should call them something else. It's just really confusing.
I wish the country could just be split right down the middle so that East could play West.
Okay.
You know, like the Western Conference isn't actually the Western Conference.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
So that's how I feel about it.
It's not.
That's an opinion.
That's something.
It's something. We're saying something. We're dragging our feet because do we really want to? You were excited about these Indianapolis Colts. I'm interested to find out why.
Very excited.
Today is a very interesting day outside of football. It is the MLB trade deadline. Later in the show, we're going to be talking fantasy as we always do for today on StarFantasyLeagues.com. But we are going to talk a lot about trades, so probably not as much fantasy talk. If you listen just for the fantasy today, stick around. You get to hear some trade deadline talk instead.
So I guess hockey and NBA are pretty split.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's talk about Winnipeg and
right.
Yeah, there's
ones that like cross the lines back and
there's
forth.
some.
I'll be completely honest. I couldn't even tell you where Winnipeg is on a map.
That would be in Canada.
Wow. Okay. In Canada. Canada is quite large.
It's like in the middle of Canada.
So you're saying that we'd let John just point above the border? And that would be Winnipeg.
It would be literally like in the middle of Canada.
You pointed to Kazakhstan. Yeah. That's Winnipeg. Winnipeg's right there.
Winnickstan.
Winnikenistan. All right. We got to talk about these 2014-15 Indianapolis Colts coming off a nice division win in one of the worst divisions in football in a long time. I think second place in that division, won 7 games?
Yep, they were bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
But the Colts were good.
Well,
not getting much better either.
No, the Colts, what they did last year, they overshadowed a really, really bad defense by putting up one of the craziest playoff comebacks I've ever seen against the Kansas City Chiefs. They came back to 27 down or something like that?
Yeah, they scored 45 points.
They won 45-43.
John, you know where I was watching that game?
Here?
No.
Oh.
Come on.
I don't know.
The Outer Lodge.
Oh, what a surprise. The Outer Lodge gets yet another mention on the Star Fantasy League show.
It's a mainstay.
We'll be there drinking tomorrow, I'm sure. Actually, that's not true at all. I won't be there.
Maybe over the weekend.
I will not be there.
It's Park Ave Fest.
Oh, that is true. Everybody in Rochester, if you're listening, you'll be part of Park Ave Fest pretty much the entire weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a great time down there.
Although no alcohol at Park Ave Fest. They do not sell
Not
it.
on the actual street, no.
They are not legally.
What happened to those like Coca Bongo places? Those places were awesome.
Did you say Coco Bongo?
Coco Bongo?
I don't know what the heck they were.
Coco
they were like
Bongo
little,
that's a dance club in Mexico.
How do you know that?
Because I've gone to it.
That's coconut milk.
Sick.
Coconut milk isn't alcohol.
He just called me sick for saying I went to a dance club.
All right, we can talk
the
football.
Coco Bongo?
Yeah.
Can we talk football, please?
We can talk
I wanna
football.
talk
You
about
guys
this, guys.
so rudely interrupted me. The defense was so bad last year. They gave up 80 points in two playoff games last year. 80.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
And one of them was Kansas City, and we all know how everybody hated on Kansas City, even though I thought they were a great team last year.
Well, they did add a couple of nice players here. They got Arthur Jones and they got DeQuell Jackson. I like both of those ads. I think there's nowhere to go but up for this team on defense. So, I mean, they added a perennial 100-plus tackle guy in Jackson.
You just said the understatement of the year. There's nowhere to go but up because they were pretty bad. 26th against rushing last year, 20th overall, 28th in takeaways. They were not a good defense at all.
You had them 28th in takeaways? I had them last.
Do you really?
I had them dead last. They had 14 turnovers last season.
Oh, no, takeaways.
Yeah, takeaways. Fumbles and interceptions, 14. They had 14. That's what I had, 32nd overall.
Whatever.
Sure.
Dead last.
They were bad.
There you go. Thank you for that clarification, Zach. I appreciate that.
Every time the offense got on the field, there was a threat to score, and every time the defense got on the field, they were a threat to score against.
I mean, yeah, this team is fun to watch, except for the fact that the running game last year was atrocious. Donald Brown looked good at times when he was filling in. He was a fantasy factor towards the end of the season. I got him in for a couple games, but now he's gone, and this is basically make or break for Trent Richardson.
I mean, he is going into his third year, so I don't want to say it's make or break yet, but it certainly wasn't good last year. Nobody really talked about the fact that he switched teams mid-season, so I think that factors in heavily. I don't know. I mean, I think this is now he's got a better situation. I really like his upside this season. I think that from a fantasy perspective, he's got a big arrow pointing up because he has an extra year in this system. But the biggest problem, I thought, was their offensive line. It was atrocious. It was one of the worst in the league.
Yeah, offensive line was really bad. He's had a history of injury problems. I would say from a fantasy perspective, that's one of the concerning things is that he had knee surgery before his rookie season. He's had calf, rib, finger, ankle issues the last couple of years. But he has put a lot of effort into learning this new system this offseason. Not just memorizing the plays, but actually learning what he's supposed to do in any given situation.
Oh, good. He's getting paid millions to do it. I don't understand this excuse where players go, "Oh, I didn't learn."
The point is that it wasn't surprising at all that he had difficulty just coming in there. I mean, this wasn't like, a few games in, they made a big trade. This was the middle of the season.
6, right? It was week 6. Like, that's dead of the season. You don't have any time in training camp with your guys. You don't know the scheme at all. He was literally put in right in the middle of the week.
And I think just his sheer force help the offense. Just his presence being there helped the offense because you have to keep an eye on him at all times because he can really pound the ball. You didn't see that much. You didn't see as much of a difference that it made because of what happened to Reggie Wayne, and therefore the offense declined after that a little bit. But I think he's going to be a pretty good force this year, and he's definitely good for RB3 to flex territory, if not better.
I'm just curious. Everybody was touting him as a big breakout candidate last season. After his rookie year with Cleveland, with the Cleveland Browns, and now he comes over to Indianapolis where there's many more weapons on offense. I'm curious, why does everybody think that it's such a bad situation?
He just never gets 20-plus yards runs. He's not very fast.
I mean, that was what he was known for in Alabama, his athletic ability to create plays. So
it doesn't
now he has a chance.
It's not translating apparently at the
I just don't think
level.
he's been given a good enough opportunity to show. I don't think he's been given a good enough opportunity to learn. And I think now that he will have a full training camp under his belt, I am curious to see what he's capable of. I think a 1,000-yard rushing season is definitely in the mix.
He was a refreshing sign in Cleveland after years of not really having anybody as a go-to guy.
And they're back to not having anybody. But the problem is if Trent Richardson continues to have injury issues, they didn't get anybody to fix this. They still have Ahmad Bradshaw as a backup who missed, all of last year and has injury concerns throughout his entire carear. What were they doing? This offseason, they didn't really help anyone.
Well, and they lost Vic Ballard.
I don't know if there was much that they could do. You know, I mean, you have money locked up in Richardson and Bradshaw.
But
why you have to put him out?
Donald Brown was pretty.
You're not.
Why
are you going to be playing Donald Brown over these guys?
Why would you playing him over? But as a backup guy, I mean, if Ahmad Bradshaw has injury concerns and one of these guys goes down, you're literally screwed. This team is.
I enjoyed watching Donald Brown a lot more than Bradshaw.
Yeah, so did I.
Bradshaw wasn't out there a lot. He averaged
when he was.
He averaged 4.5 yards per carry when he was in. he was solid. He was doing well, but then he got injured, which he's prone to do.
All right, we got to get to the biggest off-season question for these Indianapolis Colts. Can Andrew Luck make the third-year leap and be a top 5 QB in the NFL?
I mean, all signs point towards yes. I really think he can. I think there's a lot of talk right now about him not even being close. Like they came up with some like advanced metrics that I've never even seen in football. I didn't know that we even use those in football. I thought it was pretty simple. The guy can either throw for a lot of yards or he can't. Well, but this is obviously a generational talent, a guy that is so smart, can learn so many different things about the game. I don't think there's any question that he will advance.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's an absolute stud. He's got a cannon. He's a smart decision maker. And with the addition of Hakeem Nicks, if he can stay healthy and T.Y. Hilton still getting better, still room to improve, the only concern is a decline in Reggie Wayne.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they got all the weapons for him to have a great year. And the running threat, making teams concentrate on that. If Trent Richardson can make that leap and show up, then he'll have even more time to throw, I think. The offense is ridiculous, and they really let him deal out there. I don't know if from a percentage perspective whether he can be in the top 5 right now, but he just tears it up, and the amount of times he throws throughout the game, the numbers are going to be there.
Well, yeah, part of the reason last year was no Reggie Wayne, no Dwayne Allen, who's his favorite tight end target. They were just absolutely no running game, makes it hard to throw the ball, obviously. So all those factors in, he still ended up having great numbers considering 23 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. His completion percentage was up from his rookie year, way down on interceptions. He just had a quality year, and he was the third best rusher on this team.
You got Donnie Avery coming in, and he's making Donnie Avery look good.
I think the biggest question has to do with his offensive coordinator. Pep Hamilton is apparently a run-centric offensive coordinator, and he's been holding Andrew Luck back. If he gives Andrew the keys to the car and lets him do the offense the way that he sees fit, the sky is the limit for him.
That's like buying a Lamborghini or a Ferrari and saying you could only drive it up to 50 miles an hour.
Exactly.
If you have a guy like Andrew Luck, he's a Ferrari. You let him out there. You have Hakeem Nicks. You have Reggie Wayne. You have T.Y. Hilton. You have Kobe Fleener, Dwayne Allen. All these guys can catch the ball. Why don't you just let him do it?
You have so many weapons. There's 5. And you have guys coming out of the backfield. I know Richardson can definitely play in the passing game. It's ridiculous that he hasn't been given the free reign yet.
Please, Pep Hamilton. Fantasy owners would love a 4,500-yard-plus season, 25 touchdowns. Sounds good, right?
Absolutely.
All right, coming out the break, we are still talking about these Indianapolis Colts in 2014 and maybe a little John's mailbag if we get to it. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
That's right. You can tweet us at SFL Show if you want to interact with us during the show. We will probably tweet back at you because Zach doesn't really actually pay attention during the show.
I just got suspended from the show. Guys, I got to tell you something.
No, you know what? I think that Nick should still be suspended for his ridiculous comments at the end of the show the other day.
Oh, yeah? Why is that?
He kept saying something about how much he loves Ray Rice as a person, and he's just like his favorite best friend.
Definitely would love to play
His
the tape
favorite
back on
best
that.
friend.
I would definitely. Yes, I have multiple best
Yeah,
friends.
I've been taking fertility drugs. So, as far as I know, that goes against policy.
Wait, you're trying to get pregnant?
No, it helps with my steroids.
Oh, wow. Oh, at least you weren't just dealing with secondhand smoke.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It can be a hindrance.
It can be
what
a
I'm
hindrance.
getting to here is that missing Robert Mathis is not going to be good for the Colts, which is 4 games. He said him and his wife were trying to get pregnant, so
And
he
forgot-
was taking fertility
he forgot
drugs.
that he's
Well,
supposed
men
to.
do take fertility drugs sometimes.
If the boys aren't working. Well,
Just want to be sure.
Either
They
way,
want to make sure they make a baby.
reason to be skeptical of that actually being the truth.
I believe him.
Okay.
He's a good guy.
He is?
Yeah.
You hung out with him?
I have.
Nice.
Yeah,
so
we-
you're best friends with Ray Rice and Robert Mathis.
Yeah.
Cool.
Steroids and woman beating.
Oh, there we go.
There it
They
is.
got another reference to
That
it.
is
Lovely.
totally my MO.
Oh, hey, you never know. Maybe he really wasn't taking steroids. Either way, 4 games without Robert Mathis is a big deal.
Considering
on a
this
defense that
is,
already has
Swiss
enough
cheese.
issues.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried here, honestly. I didn't get to our second biggest offseason question for the Indianapolis Colts because sometimes you need two because this is a good team. They'll likely be a playoff team. Don't forget they play in the worst division in the entire world, twice against Jacksonville, twice against Tennessee, and twice against Houston. Who should be better?
Yeah, 11-5. They could end up being. They could win 12 or 13 this year, I think.
All right, so
Definitely 12 they could win.
The second biggest question is, will Andrew Luck need to overshadow a poor Indy defense yet again in 2014? Because honestly, he needed to be that good to win that many games, considering they had a kind of cream puff schedule.
I mean, we've seen this, though, with Indianapolis before with Peyton Manning. They had some of the same defensive struggles. Besides Freeney, just making an impact all the time, there was major issues when Peyton Manning was there.
Well, except for the year they won the Super Bowl where they finally
where they
everything
finally
up.
had
Bob
a defense
Sanders
for
was
one year.
around.
But a lot of those years, they didn't have a defense with Peyton Manning, and he was the one that rose up, kept the offense on the field, kept the point totals going up, and was able to just overcome the defensive issues. I think Andrew Luck has the capability of doing that. Like I said, Reggie Wayne coming back, he's 35 years old. He's still a fantastic route runner with a great work ethic. I think you might see a little bit of a decline from him, but now that they have more options with Nix and Hilton still getting better, Dwayne Allen coming back, I mean, this is a full offense that can run like clockwork as far as I'm concerned.
I'm just curious how the offense is going to work. You had T.Y. Hilton, who had a really good season last season. I would say it was a fantastic season.
You didn't listen to our show before, did you? It's Ty Hilton.
Okay, that's not true.
Okay.
We said it on the show and you agreed to it. How dare you?
I
It's
never
Ty Hilton.
said that. I never
you
agreed to
not.
that.
No.
So T.Y. Hilton had a 1,000-yard season. It was good. I wouldn't say it was fantastic. Hakeem Nicks mailed it in last year with
That
the
entire
Giants.
team
He
mailed it in
really
last
mailed
year.
it in.
So what?
And well, hang on. I'm just asking, how is this going to actually work? Is Hilton going to slide to the slot, or are they going to keep him on the outside? Are they going to move him all over? Is Reggie Wayne still? I mean, Reggie Wayne, we're guessing, is going to be predominantly on the left side. He always has been. But I think the question really, I think it really rests on Hakeem Nicks is what I'm getting at. If he can step back into, yeah, I'm a dominant receiver, and yeah, I want to play, then yeah, I think this offense is going to be unstoppable.
They could have probably won an extra game in there, been more of a competitor in their second playoff game if Reggie Wayne was there. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be back. He's getting older, but this guy just seems to defy age. Every year that we write him off, he ends up being a huge producer, both in real life and fantasy.
Well, in fantasy, we're going to talk about it in a few minutes, but it looks like he's been slipping quite a bit on some average draft position ADP.
I mean, there's concern there.
That's true. Let's talk about some camp battles first. Anybody worried about this running back situation? You guys seem to both think that Trent Richardson might be a steal this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the 5th round is where he's been going, and yeah, I do. I really think people are underestimating the fact that this guy switched teams in the middle of the season.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be worried about Ahmad Bradshaw no matter what. He can be a good change of pace guy, but there's a reason that the Giants got rid of him. There's a reason that he's had all these injury issues. It's just not something I'm concerned with. They are looking to Trent Richardson as being the guy, and he has all the tools to be able to do that.
And they did add an offensive lineman in the draft. I cannot pronounce his name now.
Jack
Mewhort.
Mewhort.
Major injury, though, today with guard Daniel Thomas going down.
Yeah, that is pretty big.
Set to be the starter, and this is not good for them.
So they can just run to the left side the entire time with Costanzo and Mewhort.
Yeah, now they're going to have to put Mewhort in his spot, and then you got a rookie coming in there.
It's
a big loss.
It is. You're right.
Daniel Thomas is a great guard.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the this whole tight end thing. Dwayne Allen missed all of last year, right? All last year.
He played 32 snaps.
Kobe Fleener actually had a pretty productive season. He's a Stanford guy, right? He played with Andrew Luck. Why are they not more compatible? Like, you'd assume he'd be his number one target, but Dwayne Allen, again, comes right back in, goes to the number one spot.
He's not as good of an athlete as Dwayne Allen. That's just the way the NFL is. I mean, yeah, you can have a great rapport with the quarterback from college, but if you don't have the skills to separate from some of these defensive players in the NFL, it's just not going to happen.
He's solid. He's a solid blocker. They both are, actually, but I think Dwayne Allen has just a slight edge in what they're going to do from a fantasy perspective, but none of them I don't think are going to be viable as a fantasy starter. But having them both out there, having them both healthy is going to be huge for the offense.
They've said it already. They're going to use more 2 tight end sets. They're going to actually mix that up a lot. That could be great for both of them and for the offense in general. But, yeah, from a fantasy perspective, it doesn't help either of them.
A lot of versatility right now. It's a shame that they lost Vic Ballard.
Yeah, they have
because
so
having him
many
there,
weapons.
having Ahmad Bradshaw there if he's healthy, that's a good running back core. And losing him for the season just isn't good.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some weapons. The wide receiver position here is just absolutely stacked. Even though Reggie Wayne, like you said, he's 104 years old, but he can still get it done. He's just productive. As long as he stays healthy this season, he should be a productive receiver. What are we expecting from this Nix-Hilton combo?
Really, I mean, right now I have Hilton going in the 5th round. I that's got to be too high for me. It really does. You don't know where he's going to line up. Where is he going to factor in this offense? Even if he does the same thing as last year, that's still too high. I don't see him breaking out with so many options in this offense. You could see a situation where you have 2,000 or 3,000 yard receivers, but nobody that's going to go for 1,508 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a Torrey Smith that isn't always the number one option, isn't as physical as Torrey Smith. When you have Reggie Wayne there, who Andrew Luck absolutely loves to target, if he's even 80% of what he was last year, he's still going to take away targets. Akeem Nicks coming in may open up things for Hilton more, but it may also just result in Akeem getting the ball more. We'll just have to see how that plays out.
I would be more comfortable getting T.Y. Hilton around the Reggie Wayne number. He's going around 78th, 7th round pick. Yep. That's where I feel comfortable getting
I think
T.Y.
Reggie Wayne, especially in PPR, has a very good chance, actually, of topping T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, absolutely.
I honestly see no reason why he shouldn't. Because if he's
he's going to be a feature.
Yeah, if he's a feature guy, he should be open because of Hakeem Nicks and T.Y. Hilton and all the other weapons we mentioned. So if he continues to run routes as well as he has in the past, he's a great possession receiver.
Yeah, he's going to be able to stretch the field. You can't double team him. It's all about how he comes back from this injury, but all the word out of camp is that he looks fine.
They should be playing a lot of 3 receiver sets and a lot of 2 tight end sets, a lot of stuff just to mix it up. And in that case,
Didn't
Wayne's
he come in
open.
like a race car this year? I think
he did. He came in an Indy car.
He likes to come in some like he came in
a helicopter one
year.
Yep,
all different things. Reggie Wayne comes to camp with.
It's all in good fun.
Then he gets real serious.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It's serious business for the Indianapolis Colts in 2014. They're looking to not get blown out in the divisional round. That's what the goal is, right? Get to the AFC title game, maybe get to a Super Bowl.
I think they are the dark horse shot for the Super Bowl in the league.
Really?
I would agree. I think they have a great chance. I mean, look at who they get to play. Jacksonville and Tennessee and Houston, scrubs in their own division, so they get to play them 6 times.
They're going to win 11 to 13 games, somewhere in between them.
So they basically get a free ride to the playoffs, and then once they get there, it's all about what they can do.
A definite chance at a bye too.
Yeah, absolutely. All
right, last people I want to talk about, the king of this team, Andrew Luck. Does he have the keys? He's going as the 5th overall QB, late in the 5th round, around 58th. Do you think he could actually be better than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has the most upside. I think you know what you're going to get with some of the top 3 and top 4 quarterbacks. You know that Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, these guys are studs. But at least if you grab Andrew Luck in the 5th round, you know you probably have 2 starting running backs, 2 wide receivers, and now you have a quarterback who has the upside to be just as good as a Drew Brees or an Aaron Rodgers. So,
yeah, no, I agree with you. He's got all of the tools. He's a smart player. He's still only tapping in, I think, to everything that he is capable of doing. I think he's just going to keep getting better, keep getting more experience, eliminating some of those mistakes, and he'll be one of the best in the league for many years to come, especially because he does a great job at avoiding getting hit.
I still, in my personal opinion, the strategy going into a draft, I wait on a quarterback. I like to wait till the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round, something like that.
Well, but this year there's just so many names out there. You can get him in a great spot. I mean, the guys coming off the board besides the top 3 in Manning and Breeze and
that Rodgers guy
and Rodgers. Then you've got Foles going a little bit later on, and then you got Kaepernick, Wilson, Brady, Luck, Griffin. They're all there.
I can't believe
you can wait.
Russell Wilson and Ben Roethlisberger are still going in the 10th rounds. Like, that makes me sad as a human being.
Yeah.
Like, are you not happy with a guy like that in the 10th round?
I think Russell Wilson is pretty capped for his ability, in my opinion.
Okay,
I really do.
What about Ben then?
Oh, I love Big Ben.
Yeah,
I think Russell Wilson is capped for the offensive strategy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But I also don't think he has the ability to spread it around to 4 or 5 receivers either.
So basically what we're saying for fantasy is, as good as Andrew Luck is, I don't think any of our strategies meld with taking him as high as he's going with the current ADP.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you'd be right.
I say that's the problem with the show. We need to get somebody in here who actually can advocate for picking a QB early, because I'm curious on how their thinking goes, because I can't do it. I don't want to do it.
It just depends for me if somebody is going beyond the value that I deem them at. If all of a sudden Drew Brees is there early in the 4th round, how can I not?
Yeah,
that's never.
And the other thing is, it depends
I
on
think you
where
get him in the 3rd right now.
It depends on where you're picking too. I think it depends on where you are in your draft. If you're in a snake draft and you're in the middle of your draft, reaching for a quarterback is not a horrible idea. I grabbed Peyton Manning last year at the 6th position in the 3rd round. There you go. You win your league. Bingo. You're good. But then again, I also drafted Ray Rice, so.
I'm gonna
Ray
wait for
Rice
you.
is nice, though.
That was your time to say something about your boy Ray Rice, and you didn't do
Well,
it.
he screwed up. He sucked last year.
Decent apology.
He's my boy
today,
this
though.
year.
Decent apology from Ray Rice today.
He goes from his best friend to just throwing him right under the
It's okay,
bus.
Ray.
Good job,
We'll
Nick.
get back
All right,
on it.
Coming after the break, we're talking trade deadline deals for Major League Baseball, and also breaking down Major League Baseball for today. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Zach, and Nick, only on The Team.
Oh my God, guys, we have breaking news for the first time on the Star Fantasy League Show.
God bless Comerica.
All right, that's not ever happening again. It is MLB trade deadline day, which we did mention at the top of the show. We were just going to talk about what's happening, what's going on. Trade during the break.
During the break.
Yep, David Price on his way to some team.
Some team.
What team? Do you know what team he's going to?
Detroit.
Yeah, your Detroit Tigers just picked up probably the best pitcher on the market. It depends if you're
Second
a Lester.
best.
If you're a Lester
Second
guy,
best, yeah.
well, he's not on our team anymore, so it doesn't matter. So both of the top pitchers on the
He
market.
will be later.
Sorry, all three of the top pitchers on the market went today. They all went. Gone.
Very, very interesting. I don't know. It's almost looking like a shoo-in that the Tigers will be battling the A's at some point in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would not disagree at all.
And yes, the reason we're talking about that is John Lester went to the Athletics, who already got Samardzija and Jason Hamill from the Cubs to have one of the best rotations in the majors, and then they add one of the top 10 pitchers in the league.
Yeah, Hamill hasn't really made a great transition, but Samardzija certainly has.
Yeah.
And John Lester, well, he's having just about one of the best seasons he's had in his major league career. So, I think the A's have a great shot. I think the only thing that stands in the way of Detroit and Oakland is the Los Angeles Angels.
Of Anaheim underneath the 405 freeway. Don't forget their full name,
exactly.
please.
You're right.
Yes, I am I'm not really that worried about them because their rotation just doesn't stack up.
And if things play out the way that they are, the Angels are going to have to play one game.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know about that. I don't really agree. I think Garrett Richards has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that C.J. Wilson can face down anybody. They have a good rotation.
And they have Weaver as their third.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that or Chavez rather just drops to the bottom of this rotation. He's not going to be pitching in the rotation in the playoffs if things continue the way they are.
Well, he might.
He might.
He might be.
He could.
He might.
But he's good enough to be a top starter on almost any team.
Yeah, there were reports that they were already shopping Jason Hamill because people were apparently calling about him.
Yeah, well, they should. He's been atrocious since he came over, and if they can get a good price for him, then great. Detroit got a good price, so
they shipped off Malone.
Well. Yep, Tommy Malone.
They don't need
gone.
any of those scrubs anymore.
He was having a pretty decent year for them.
Yeah, but that ain't going to win you a World Series.
That is true. But they what they did get is probably going to help them win a World Series. So are you upset about the pieces that they're potentially going to give? We don't actually have the full news on the trade yet. We're seeing that Ken Rosenthal is breaking this on Twitter.
Well, from what I'm hearing, it looks like Austin Jackson and Drew Smyly and possibly Castellanos. I don't mind it at all. The outfield is completely overflowing. And Drew Smyly is a little bit of a Chudzinski.
We've mentioned him as a chuddy guy.
Yeah, he can be real chuddy. I don't mind. He's never been somebody that I've seen on the hill for that day and getting excited at all about it. Just makes me nervous every time I see him pitching.
So now Detroit has Anibal Sanchez as their fourth. That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. And Verlander, he will come back for the playoffs. I still believe.
Nathan is getting his game together. Soria's there. The bullpen's looking better. The lineup is ridiculous.
Except you couldn't get Andrew Miller from Boston. He ended up going to the Orioles.
Well, yeah, I was a
sure
little
what the draw is
I was a
there.
little upset when I saw that Andrew Miller wasn't coming, and then the David Price news came out.
Yeah, so you're okay with that?
Yeah,
right?
I get to see David Price in a Tigers uniform relatively soon, which is crazy.
I think everybody has been a winner so far. Particularly, I have to advocate for the Red Sox on this one. They give away a rental, and they have the opportunity to buy him back at the end of this season.
Yeah, I don't know if that's considered collusion in sports, but it feels collusion-y.
I don't see
Fine.
I don't see it happening.
You don't see it happening.
No.
Okay, but
Why?
the thing is, we have the chance to do it. We get Yoenis Cespedes back, which great. We got rid of Lackey. We're getting Alan Craig and Joe Kelly, who I picked yesterday and chudded it up on the mound. Thanks a lot, Joe
Why
Kelly.
why don't you see it happening?
I think, well, one, he could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Two, he didn't want to sign the extension that they offered him.
They offered him 4 years, $70 million, and then they said that they were going to up that offer to over $100 million.
Well, why didn't that happen?
Off-season.
What happened today?
Yeah, they're probably waiting for the offseason.
Ben
know,
Cherington, the
people-
mastermind, listens to the SFL
They
show.
traded him away regardless. Regardless of what they want to do, they traded him away. You think they went downstairs and were like, hey, buddy, enjoy the next 2 months. Go try to win a World Series, and we'll see you next year.
Maybe.
No way.
Why not? They got Yoenis Cespedes back. Yo knows. Yo is the man.
We're gonna start
You
calling
don't think,
him Yo Knows.
you don't think
Yo.
the Pinstripes are going to be offering him something?
I do think they will offer
You don't think
him
the
something.
Dodgers might offer him something?
I don't think they will.
Okay.
Well, I think
There's going to be a
I think
lot
they
of
have-
teams out there that want his services.
Well, okay. Here's why I was actually at first I looked at this trade and I'm like, oh my goodness, they gave away their best pitcher, they gave away a really good role player, and I was really sad. And then I realized, you know what? We're heading into free agency, and there are a ton of free agents coming out this season. Couple of starting pitchers: Max Scherzer, John Lester, Ryan Vogelsong, Irvin Santana, Justin Masterson, James Shields, Hamill, okay, and Josh Beckett. All of those guys are capable. All of those guys have upside in one way or another. I just think that this is an amazing move. They have Cespedes until 2017. I think it's all good. And then what they got for Lackey, well, I like it.
And let's be honest, Cespedes going from Oakland to Boston, hitting there is going to be incredible for his career.
Absolutely.
He goes from the worst hitters ballpark in the AL to one of the best.
Yep. He's going to be launching them over the monster. Everybody park your car somewhere else.
Yeah, I would never park in that garage, by the way. Terrible idea if you park there.
Yep.
Who got their window? Who smashed the window? The Melky?
Yeah.
A lot of people get cars. That's not like a
It was
new
a good
thing.
one. It was a good direct hit, though.
It was cool.
Right on the windshield.
All right, so we talked about all the things happening at the trade deadline. Tomorrow we'll talk about all the shakeout from this. Obviously, there'll be deals that probably aren't reported as this is going on that maybe get done. But we'll give you all the details on tomorrow's show. Tune in at 5 o'clock for that. But we have to talk about fantasy on starfantasy.com for today, Thursday. You got just over an hour after the deadline's over to set your lineups for tonight. So where are we going for tonight? Only 8 games on the schedule. I think Major League Baseball knew there was some stuff going down. So, you know what? Let's just have a nice, easy schedule. You don't have to worry about holding players out, doing all this crap. So where are we going for your number one stack of the night, Zach?
Well, there's 3 early games, so there's still a good chunk of games, right?
Yeah. Well, no. What? Early? Yeah, we're not.
There was 3
including-
early games.
Yeah,
No, I'm
we're
just
not-
saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with the Royals, actually, tonight against Correa, who is just about as low as it gets, and he's kind of a reverse split guy, offering up 1.3 home runs per 9. But overall, 4 Ks per 9 innings. You're not going to get a lot of negative points out of this situation.
He's a reverse split pitcher in that he's bad.
Yeah. He's at a 4.98 XFIP, and the Royals just have value all over the place. And Gordon's at 7,000. He's their highest.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then you've got Perez at 6,700, Hosmer at 6,400, Butler at 5,500. So I'm looking at that, and with some of the top pitchers that are out there tonight, I'm going to be looking to get some value out of that lineup and then put in some big boys.
I got a couple of names that have actually fared pretty well against Kevin Correa in the past. Raul Ibanez, if he plays, Lorenzo Cain, and Mike Moustakas. All
Mike
3 of those guys have
Moustakas.
actually batted extremely well against Kevin Correa. And yeah, Kevin Correa is a chud. He might be another one on Mount Chudmore.
Yeah, he's down at 4,700, and he has been bad for quite some time. What is he? He's 5-13.
He's horrible. Yeah, he is.
I mean,
just atrocious.
He's just atrocious. It's fine.
Yeah.
They don't
Things
really have
happen.
any bats to help him, but they're just, he's just not good.
That's true.
That
All right,
is
Nick.
true.
Nick, where are we heading?
You know what? I'm kind of all over the board tonight. I do like the matchup for the Angels against Bud Norris. A couple of guys that have done pretty well against him, Josh Hamilton and Mike Trout. Obviously, Trout can play against anybody, but Bud Norris, he's on and off. I mean, he has some games where he's good, some where he's bad. But I think, stick to some of the guys that have a solid BVP against him, and you might actually fare pretty well there. Other than that, I'm really literally all over the board tonight. I got a couple that I like, couple that I hate. But a lot of pitchers I like tonight.
Yeah, we're going to talk about pitchers in a few minutes, but I have an interesting. There's a crazy pitcher matchup going on in Los Angeles tonight. Teheran against Kershaw. I think that a lot of people are going to avoid hitters in this game. I'm going the opposite way. I think I'm going to stack, not a full stack. I'm going to go with a few guys against Julio Teheran tonight.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. The Dodgers have good bats, and I mean, Julio is solid. He's been very solid all year long, but I think you could find some value.
Yeah, there are a lot of good lefties in this lineup, and guys that can hit really well. The guy that I'm going with, though, for value is Matt Kemp. He's been hitting the absolute snot out of the ball this past couple weeks. He's only 57.23 on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Put him in there. Yasiel Puig's value has absolutely plummeted. He's all the way down to 86.18. This is a price I absolutely love him at. 429 weighted on base average against righties.
Doesn't have you worried, though?
Nope.
I mean, he's been playing poorly. That's why his price dropped.
I understand, but I still, again, this is players where you know that they're really, really good, and as soon as their value dips at a certain point, you have to go, okay, why not? Like he's hitting an advantageous lineup where he's always going to get chances to knock RBIs in. He's got great guys hitting in front of him, great guys hitting behind him. It's just a great situation for him.
Yeah.
All right, not a bad play.
Do you guys want to talk pitchers? Because I agree. There's a lot of good pitchers going tonight. You kind of have to talk about them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to taking Kershaw, but
I am spending the money tonight.
Yep, so am I.
I'm getting so much value out of this KC lineup, and when I saw what everybody was priced out at right there, I couldn't look away from it.
Kershaw's number scares me.
I'm going to splurge. I know. Well, yeah. I mean, this is like as high 23. This is like as high as it gets.
What's our max for pitchers?
25,000.
There's a possibility we could have one pitcher hit 25.
We had Peyton Manning in the NFL hit 25 last season.
Well, and in NBA we had a couple of guys do that, right? Durant and didn't Braun hit that?
Yeah.
Probably.
So we could actually have a pitcher do it.
Yeah. What about what are your thoughts on Johnny Cueto? He's got a great matchup, but man, he has not hit value in his last 8 starts. He's barely getting over 10 points when he does it. Which, if you're around 20,000 like he is, if you're not getting 12 to 15 points, that's a disappointment.
Funny enough, he actually doesn't do too well against Miami either, and Miami's been hitting pretty well against right-handed pitchers. I love Cueto, and I think he's done a fantastic job this season. I think it's been well overshadowed by what Kershaw has done. But, yeah, I would stay away. And
the line is so tight. Kohler has been very inconsistent. He's had some good starts. He's had some bad ones. But Cueto just isn't – I mean, he's not looking at getting any run support. And that is the issue.
Yeah, this team, I read they're also missing 2 people. I didn't see exactly who it was, but their lineup is just completely decimated.
Yeah, you mean my Cincinnati Reds?
Being up there at 19,000, actually closer to 20, you have to get a win out of this. You have to. And with this matchup, it's not even about the matchup. It's just about the fact that Cincinnati, with their lineup and their injuries, cannot put anything on the board right now.
I totally agree.
What about some value pitchers you need to get? Because if you're spending money for Clayton Kershaw, man, you are screwed if you don't get value.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough night for that. And I thought about maybe Josh Colementor against Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's been playing well. I mean, really, I think one of the more valuable guys out there, and you're going to hate that I'm going to say this, John, but Chris Young. I really do.
Oh, God. Oh, sorry.
John, I got to
did hate it.
Why do you hate Chris Young again?
Because his stats just make 23.8 ground ball percentage, 1.3 home runs per 9, 215 BABIP, all atrocious.
Isn't 23.8 like the worst?
What's his ERA?
Yes, we understand his ERA is 3.04.
I'm sorry, but the fact of the matter is, if he doesn't give up runs, then he's not giving up a ton of points. It's just
a little bit fortunate with the 215 BABIP.
Yeah, very fortunate. All right, the other 2 guys I'm interested in for value: Drew Hutchinson for Toronto going up against Houston, and Zach McAllister against those Seattle Mariners. They cannot hit the ball. McAllister's decent striking guys out, and Mariners strike out quite a bit. So. All right, coming off the break, we're giving you all of our top plays of the day to make your best lineup for Thursday. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
We are back on a action-packed Star Fantasy League show as the MLB trade deadline just passed. Lots to talk about, lots of trades going on. Zach is just on cloud 9 for David Price going to your Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching news all day.
You are going – no, you're not.
Well, no, that's not true.
Yes,
but I'll watch a good chunk of it and just get all revved up about it because it's going to be really exciting and quite a team that they have in Detroit right now.
Quite a team indeed. All right, we need to get to our top plays for Thursday on StarFantasyLeagues.com to make your best daily fantasy baseball team. Zach, start us off.
Okay, I'm going to put in Gordon as my top player at 7,000. I've got
Gordo?
Yes, Alex Gordon. I've got Perez, I've got Hosmer, and I've got Butler as my value play at 5,500 as part of my Royals stack against Correa, and I am going with Clayton Kershaw, who could just be – this could be one of those games for him.
This could be one of those years for a pitcher.
He routinely gets over 15 fantasy points, and no other pitcher easily does that.
I mean, 11 Ks per 9.
It's gross.
It's crazy.
And he's routinely pitching 9 too. It's not like he's pitching 7. No, he's pitching 8+ innings almost every game.
Very true.
It's gross.
All right, well, I will throw my pitcher of the day as Gio Gonzalez against Philadelphia. Philly is 22nd versus left-handed pitching, 10th in strikeout percentage, and Gio's been pretty solid this season, 3.56 ERA. I think he should be able to battle Cliff Lee pretty well, I think Washington should be able to put up some runs, which is why my batter of the day is actually going to be Jason Worth versus Cliff Lee. What?
How do you keep doing this?
What?
Every time I put
you're stealing his players, Nick.
Oh, sorry, I have the knowledge. My bad. He's 11 for 30 versus Lee, 2 home runs, a 6.67 slug percentage. My value play is going to be Danny Espinosa at second base for Washington. He's 3,500, our minimum, and he also does pretty well against Lee. And I'm going to give an honorable mention to my boy Chris Young, who is 25th in the majors in ERA with a 3.04. Take that, Jonald.
Fine, I'll take that. I'm not going with my batter of the day as Jason Worth because you just took him from me. So I'm going to go with the man that has the best weighted on-base average today, Adam Jones. I like Adam Jones a lot. 504 weighted on-base average, which is just disgusting. Tyler Skaggs, I know somebody here likes him, right?
I did like him for a time, but he has definitely tapered off.
He's definitely tapered off. This game's in Baltimore. I feel like some runs could be put up there.
I'm not touching him.
Yeah. What, Skaggs or
Adam
Skaggs?
Jones?
Okay, yeah, that's why I'm taking Adam Jones. I'm going with the value pitcher yet again. I'm going with Hutchinson for Toronto at Houston. I feel like that could be a nice little matchup there. And they've been playing really well of late. Yeah. Even despite all the injuries they have, while playing against Boston certainly helps at this point.
Yeah, only 2.5 back right now from Baltimore, and
they need
8-2 in their last 10.
Healthy. They need to get healthy,
Well,
otherwise they're out of that race.
The fact that they're winning without being healthy gives them some hope when they are healthy.
Absolutely.
It could be a boon.
My value player of the day, even though they're going up against a lefty, Bryce Harper's just had great numbers against lefties so far this season, and he's still under 5,000 StarFantasyLeagues.com, and he's starting to hit a little bit. Get him in there. I love him. I love Bryce Harper. Love
undeniable
the
value.
Love the Nationals.
There is deniable value if he's not hitting, but he has been hitting, so there's value.
And he's hitting lefties.
So now, undeniable.
Okay, I don't agree, but okay.
Look at that. He's just...
I'm sorry, but he hasn't been the stud that he was.
I know.
He should be better.
I'm saying he hasn't been the stud, but anytime you see a guy who you think should be doing well at a value that you like, you have to pay a little of attention to it.
So how about Ryan Howard? Shouldn't he be doing well?
Okay, you keep
Didn't
bringing
we
Ryan
have this
Howard
exact
up.
argument?
We're not
This is
bringing
what
this
we're going
up.
back to every time is this argument?
Chris Young is the man. Don't deny it.
All right, Chris Young might not be the man, but you can be the man playing at StarFantasyLeagues.com every single day of the week. $50 free roll Tuesday and today. Get in the $50 free roll. You
At
still got time.
StarFantasyLeagues.com, the price is right.
Oh, my God. We're starting some weird stuff going on today. You can get free $5 free. Tweet us at SFL Show with your username. $5 free in your account. Thousands of dollars in guaranteed prize pools every single day. Tomorrow, we're moving on. I'm probably going to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't tune into that. That would be a terrible idea. I can't believe we actually have to talk
That'll
about
last
that.
like 3.5 minutes.
And if you don't think Chris Young is deserving of the Cy Young, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Seriously. Chris
neither
Young.
do I.
No, Chris Young is
You're
the
crazy.
worst pitcher in the world. Take it easy,
You're
guys.
nuts.